Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me Isabel here with something I haven't done in ages, a mid-month wrap-up. Well, I'm not vlogging, I will be doing these slash end-of-month wrap-ups, and we're going to talk about the 14 books I read so far in the month of December. Now, that includes 2 manga and a DNF, so I guess we'll dive right in and let's talk about the book I DNF'd. So over the weekend we had a 12 and 24-ish where we tried to read for 12-ish hours, for 12 hours and 24-ish hours, give or take, and we're moderately successful, I believe, overall in that challenge. And the first book I picked up was He Sees You When You're Sleeping by Cass O'Shire and Emily Antoinette, and I DNF'd it not very far in because, for me at least, the on-page panic attacks the heroine was having constantly already in the beginning of the book were bothering me. I didn't love them. I wasn't enjoying it. I felt like we were taking a little too long to get to the stalker plot, stalker monster plot line overall. And currently, if something is taking too long, I'm out. That's just what it is, right? Like, I'm out. It's not what I want. So yeah, this for me, once the on-page panic attacks were continuing pretty regularly in the first 2 chapters, I read 2 or 3. I made it like 10 or 11%. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is gonna be for me right now. And yeah, I just was like, let's go ahead and DNF that. So, DNF that. And then we're gonna go into everything I read in the order in which I read it, because that's how this works. So first things first, I finished The Spare by Ava Rani. This was fine. Like, it was a 3.5. It is absolutely just okay for what it is. I think I'm most interested in book 2, but I figured, screw it, we'll read book 1. And yeah, I'm still gonna read book 2. This is a brother's best friend, biotech, like, billionaire situation. There's some family drama and intrigue here. There is death of parent discussion on page. The death does not happen on page, but they do talk about the death happening and like the best friend, the brother's best friend and her friend, and their trauma around the loss of both their parents on the same night. I thought overall it was an interesting story because our heroine is like really being discounted by her family as her abilities, but also does not want the role of CEO for the family company. And the third act revolves around some reveals that she was not aware of the best friend and brother being involved in. So there's that. But again, it was one of those books where I was like, this is doing the thing well, but it's not well enough that I'm like, I love this, I'm obsessed, but it also wasn't like bad necessarily. Like, I want to read more from this author. That's what I walked away from. I like the writing. I was intrigued enough about a story I've read kind of before, but it was also different. And also I want more from this author because I enjoyed what I did read. So I will be reading more Ava Rani. Then I read Bouquets and Buckles by Elliot Rose, who is an author I don't think I would return to. I also learned some things after the fact of reading this book that I had missed prior. So I'm still going to tell you I read it. I gave it 3 stars. It's an age gap Christmas romance. This I read because it counts for my hardest reading challenge ever 2.0. And it counts for that because it was a December release for the audiobook. So I didn't read it. I didn't know going in. And then I saw some stir around things in this author's prior books as far as musicians referenced. And I was like, ew, I'm out. That does not work for me. I'm not gonna read from an author who puts a certain country music artist things in their books personally. This for me was like not notable at all. So like this was like one of those 3 stars where it was like, I don't think I'll remember this book in a month and a half. Like, it was not enjoyable necessarily, and it wasn't unenjoyable. It just was what it was. This is her best friend's dad and her hooking up because they're snowed in together. She basically shows up, sees her boyfriend is cheating on her when she goes to surprise him, and gets like a flat tire and stuck and accidentally calls him and calls the best friend's dad, and he comes to get her, and it's their romance. There is nothing untoward that happened when she was younger or underage, so like that worked well. And the dad is definitely working through the idea that he is attracted to her now that she's an adult. Enjoyed that. Thought it was good. For like that element was good and well handled. So it's kind of disappointing to learn what I learned, but I was like, I don't know. I need to do like more looking to figure out some stuff on that one. Then I read Feeling the Heat Part 2. I did get an art copy of this from the author, and I loved Part 2 just as much as I liked Part 1. I don't think it was as good as Part 1, but it was still really good. This is still a series I really love and I want to get physical copies of sooner than later, and I will be ordering them from the author. Like, I'm very excited for this because this was a fun, older Omega awakening story at the end of the day with a really great pack dynamic. I really liked all of our heroes. I really liked how everything unfolded, and Even the third act breakup, which is kind of the end of book one, part one, and beginning of part two, worked really well for me because it was really us navigating through a lot of issues, as well as her learning the truth of what actually happened when she was exposed as an Omega by other people unwillingly. Then I read A Man for Mrs. Claus by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This came out last year. The audio just released, which is why I read it finally. It was in my Hoopla at least. So check your libraries, check your Hooplas, all that good jazz. But A Man for Mrs. Claus was fun. Let me check. Did I get? So I really liked this. This is like a paranormal-ish light bachelor situation with Mrs. Claus. Every so often, the Santa Claus is called back to heaven or wherever because their soulmate from their time on Earth has died or something. Like, they just get called up. So this place exists, the North Pole, and our Mrs. Claus was an elf. She is now Mrs. Claus, and it is her finding her Mr. And this follows some love interests that were picked for her by the elves and stuff, and her kind of going on dates and finding that relationship with them. I really liked the setup for this. I think it was unique and interesting. It was a different setup for this kind of situation. I don't know that I expected it, to be honest with you, in like a good way. I don't know that I expected it. But overall, I found it really, really fun and enjoyable. There are kids who pass and choose to stay at the North Pole, and they have like families there and all this stuff, and that's really sweet. And like Santa Claus kind of takes care of all those children. And then they also can choose to leave again, like when certain family members die and they call to them, etc. I just thought this was a really cool concept overall. Like, I think this did something so different from every other like Santa Claus book I've ever read. And I really, really liked our Mrs. Claus. I really liked our hero Dominic. He was fantastic. And I just loved the setup overall. Like, it was just really cute and really fun. And you kind of just get like fun nods to lots of things. Then I read Ice Queen Alpha by Lily. This was a delightful by chance scroll on Threads, like when Threads actually pays off. There was a request for sapphic omegaverse, and this author came up, and then I saw this collection, Les the Holidays, and this book, Ice Queen Alpha. So I dove into Ice Queen Alpha. This is a Scrooge story where a boss is just kind of terrible, and her assistant quits because of it. And basically is like, I'm done and fed up. And the boss shows up at the assistant's house to like get some things that she took. But in reality, it ends up being them hooking up and them having this like delightful little rendezvous situation. And it was really fun. I don't always love a Scrooge character, but I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed how quick this was, and it was a fun way for me to try this author's writing before I go circle back and try some of their other stuff, because apparently they have a lot of sapphic omegaverse, and I'm here for it. I'm very, very excited at the prospect of sapphic omegaverse being published that is not fic. So I think this was fun. If you like omegaverse, if you like sapphic, if you're not opposed to a Scrooge, give it a shot. Then I read My Dark Hearted Darling by E.P. Bally. This is a short story she sent out in her newsletter. I had fun with this. No rating, really. It's like 30 pages, but our princess is basically like told these are going to be your mate. One of them has escaped, so she goes through the jungle with the other two and hunts him down, and it's them like all realizing they really like her. So that was fun. And then surprise, surprise, like everyone else and their brother, I read Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. This is my first time reading this, which may surprise some of you. I had fun. I will say I don't know that I recommend the audiobook for Heated Rivalry. I did listen to it. I didn't love the narration. But, in that same note, when I say I didn't love the narration, I still devoured this book pretty quickly, and I still had a good time. So, if you're curious about the book, I do think give it a try. If you are open to more category romance style writing, because this is a Carina Press title through Harlequin. It does have some of that vibe of like a more Harlequin-y book. It is about the same I've only watched some of the show. I'm not very far. You do need to know I'm not super far into the show. Like, I watched one episode as of recording this, and it going up, I'll probably be on episode 2 or 3. I'm taking my time. And I feel like I can, since we already got renewed for season 2. So there's that. But I enjoyed Shane and Elia's story here. I really liked the story, which is what kept me listening, even though I didn't love the narrator. And I don't think he's a bad, because I feel like I've listened to him in other books and he was fine. I don't know what is going on in this book, but in this book in particular, I just don't think he excels. I think it's too many male voices, personally. And I think that may be the problem. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. I thought it was an enjoyable time. I understand its popularity, and I can see what it was doing in the time it came out, if that makes any sense. Like, it feels very, like, of its time to an extent. So, I had a good time, though. and I'm excited for more. I gave it like 4 stars, 4.5. I'm already reading I'm reading book 1 now, Game Changer. So if I liked it enough to go back to book 1, you know that says a lot. Then continuing my Les the Holidays little marathon. I only have 1 left in this series, which I will finish soon. I haven't started it even. I'll sit down and read it this today probably. I have A Witch for Solstice, which is by Darva Green, who, again, I've never read. None of the authors in the Les the Holidays I've read. A Witch for Solstice I thought was a really fun one. I gave this like a 3.5. Our heroine basically steals herself away in this chest that's getting stolen by the Dragon Kingdom because she's been banned from using her magic because it's fire magic at this university she's at, or school, academy situation. And when the Dragon Queen opens the chest and sees her, she is like, oh, hold up, and realizes it's her mate. And the chest is supposed to give the ruler of the Dragon Kingdom what they need. So that's kind of a fun setup. This is just a fun, smutty little time. I really liked the setting. I liked the world here. I liked their dynamic a lot. I thought they were really sweet together. So that was fun. Then I read Red Light, Green Light by Chelsea J. Leon. And this one really surprised me. When I read the premise of this, and when I tell you this, you're probably going to be like, huh? Because agreed, huh? But no, it was actually really, really fun. So our heroine here is entering a competition to be part of Santa's reindeer. All the reindeer are women and they're all shifters. And she's entering the competition. She's been like top of the ranks for like the competitions leading in and stuff, and like juniors or whatever. So she ends up getting bullied at the beginning. She has a little voyeurism moment where she sees 2 of Santa's current reindeers hooking up, and they're like very into her, and they ask her to go to the party with them. And the party is the 3 of them like becoming a couple and hooking up. It's very cute and sweet. It's very, very steamy in like a good way. Like it had really good steam in it and really good sex scenes, I felt like, for what it was. And I had a blast. Like it was really fun and very silly. Again, when I read the synopsis, I was like, I don't know about this one. I thought I would DNF it, but instead I ended up being like, wow, this is really silly and fun. So here we are. Then I read The Yuletide Fairies Curse by Lila Gwyn. This is one that I would give like a 3 probably. I liked it. It was okay. So our heroine is getting stolen by the Yuletide fairy, who is the fairy of winter, and every winter Puck comes to kill her, and in the summer solstice, at the winter solstice, and at the summer solstice she kills Puck. And our heroine is like trying to figure out why her family has vanished and keeps getting kidnapped by this fairy and what is going on here. And the fairy is trying to show her what's really happening, because it's actually that like her family is entering into deals with Puck. Very interesting setup. I think for me, this one just felt a little long for what it was, and I think I needed more of their romance on page than I got at the end of the day, but I didn't hate it. Like, it was just fine. And last but not least, the book I finished this weekend during the readathon was Whisked Away by the Alien. This is an alien Hanukkah romance, so I felt like it was a great option for during the readathon weekend thing, and it really was. I had a good time with this. Our heroine is curvy. It does feature some of the family pressuring for her to like find someone because she's 28 and like, why are you single and all of that. So if you don't like that, you may not enjoy this. But our alien is sent to immerse himself with humans, basically, and learn more about humans. And he goes to help the family, and there's a lot of like, oh my god, it's an alien, like what is going on, and like hatred towards the aliens, because this is a post-alien occupied Earth, but he's not part of the group that occupied Earth. Like, he's a different group that's trying to help bring Earth into this like alliance situation. Our heroine sees him and is like, interesting. I'm kind of attracted to you. I don't know how I feel about this. And he is like, oh, she's very pretty and all these things. And she's like helping him. He's helping her cook their Hanukkah meal for night 1 of Hanukkah for that celebration, which I thought was very, very cute. But at the same time, we then also learned like he has 2 dicks, which was hilarious. So one is just for his mate and one is just for pleasure. And that was just like an entirely hilarious concept to me. It's not the first time I've read this. But I don't know that I've read it in that exact order of it being for these specific things. And yeah, I just thought this was really silly and fun and a good time. It also like showed him caring deeply about her desire to continue to have her family traditions and different things, which I don't think we always get in books, like a belief that is very important to them. I like when we see that in books and it is like held strong by the love interest, even when it's not something they grew up with or feel the same way about necessarily. So we have that, which I loved. Truly, it was so fun. And yeah, overall, this was like a fun, silly book. Like, it was just very fun and silly, and I had a good time. So if you want a fun, silly time to read, I think this is a great option. Last category for this wrap up is my manga read, because I'm not doing a manga log in January because I don't know that I'll have read a ton, but I have read 2 volumes this month already. Why are you not tracking my face? There we go. Anyways, those 2 volumes. I read Dangerous Convenience Store Volume 4, and I'm very excited and hopeful to be finished with the series by the end of the year. We'll see. You'll know when I do my next wrap up. I really liked Volume 4. I felt like we had some interesting progression between their relationship and what is happening. So, curious to see where that goes. And then I read Takahashi from the Bike Shop Volume 3 finally. Finally managed to find a copy of this, and I am devastated, like truly devastated, that we have to wait until May of next year for Volume 4. So, I'll tell you that, I'm devastated. I do love when we get quick releases, but sometimes when it happens like this, I'm just really sad because the way Volume 3 ended, I'm torn about a lot of things. I really like our couple as a whole. We had a huge growth for the 2 of them in this volume, but we also had huge growth just for our character, for our heroine in this one, which I really enjoyed and loved personally, because I felt like we got some movement that she really needed to be pushed further along and further into her journey of everything. So there's that. So yeah, that is everything I've read so far this month. Let me know what you've been loving so far this month. Have you found any Christmas novellas or novels that you think I should try? Are you gonna pick any of the ones I talked about up? And if you're not gonna do any of that, leave me a holiday related emoji of your choice. So a menorah, is there a dreidel emoji? I don't know. I know we're in the middle of Hanukkah right now, so that, you can do a snowflake, you can do a Christmas tree, you can do whatever. Take your pick. Surprise me. You can do that all down below. I'll have links to everything I talked about down there, links to my friend anywhere on the internet, and I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we waited.